Okay, we are streaming live and we're good to go. So streaming live into the Successful Bookkeeper group. Thanks for joining us today, those live on the call and those watching in either live or after the event. Good to have you here, and hopefully we can have quite an interactive, engaging conversation and answer questions along the way. So today's topic is about feeling like I'm on the treadmill and how to get off it. So it's a very common feeling for bookkeepers to feel as if they are on that treadmill and that they are just constantly working. You feel as if you're in a rut. It's just really hard to go forward and know where the future is going to take you, and what you can possibly do to avoid the same workload, the same feelings day after day and bass after bass. You just feel as if you're constantly just running, not stopping, not succeeding, not kicking goals. You get to a year down the track and you haven't progressed, or you haven't done those things that you wanted to do at the start of the year. So I guess, this time of the year is a good time to also reflect on what your year has been like in terms of the workload and maybe the rut that you are feeling in, and, all of those things. So I know for my business, at the start of my business, and as it was growing, it did feel as if you're on the treadmill. You're just constantly doing the same work for the same people, and not actually growing your business. It's just getting work done. So love to hear anybody on the call today. And if you'd like to put in comments or come off mute, Melissa, maybe you'd like to jump off mute and have a chat about how you feel. Like currently, are you kicking goals now, or you still feel as if you're on the treadmill?
No, I'm still doing the same thing, and it's driving me insane. I'm not sure what I'm doing. So yeah, hence the reason I'm on this call.
All right, so you're a really good test case then. So what's going on in your world at the moment?
There's lots of ideas that I've got. I need to increase my income. So I need to raise my prices. I need to bring on new clients. I want to be off the tools myself. So I need to find a good employee. I have currently, it's just myself at the moment, but I had someone earlier in the year. They didn't turn out very well. So it's finding that right staff member that I can pass off that work to and that sort of thing. So yeah.
Okay, so you're doing all the work yourself.
Yeah. And I'm getting a bit tired of it.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's very common as well. Is other people on the call experiencing that as well? If you ever want to put your hand up, or there's a reaction button there, come off mute. Emily, you're off mute.
Hello, sorry, it's a bit noisy. I don't know if you can hear the background noise. I've got tradies pulling the bathroom apart, so but if you can hear me okay, I just only popped in, but I'm in a similar situation, I think, by the sounds of what Melissa was just saying.
Yeah, okay, so you're just on the treadmill. So how long have you been on the treadmill for? What's it causing at the moment?
Well, I've sort of only just a few months ago taken the business full time, so I guess it's been more noticeable since then.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you're doing working more hours and possibly not setting it up to be able to get into that nice balance, and there's probably. We'll go through a lot of the components of what causes you to be on the treadmill and what we can do about it. Melissa, how long have you've been feeling like you've been on the treadmill for? Is it?
Oh, it's mainly this year. I've sort of felt Well, yeah, tell a lie. It's continual, really. It's just I can't stick to, like, I set myself some goals
Mhm.
and I just can't. You know, I'd have achieved some goals this year. I got my pure bookkeeping zero phase 2, I think, set up. So I
Awesome.
got that all done for all my clients. But yeah, it's just all those little things, and yeah, feeling a bit overwhelmed and underpaid.
Yes. So what impact has that had on your business, do you think, in staying in this scenario?
I haven't got the passion that I had previously.
Yeah, okay.
Like, I enjoyed it, whereas I'm not enjoying it as much now. So I think that's my main thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Okay. Yep. And it's have you tried things during the year that that hasn't worked, or that has worked perhaps? What have you tried so far in trying to get off the treadmill?
I've going to all, like, the bookkeeping summit and all that sort of stuff. That's got me motivated.
Yeah.
But then, something comes up and you get stuck into doing the work and that sort of thing. So yeah, I'm dragged back into doing the work and not working on the business, which I need to find that time. I think that's
Yeah. Yep. So what's happening in your business at the moment? Are you working like 50 hours?
No, I'm not working lots of hours. But yeah, something needs to change.
Yeah.
I need, so.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And do you have any structure throughout your day? Like, have you set yourself up like we talk about a default diary, putting some structure in place so that
I pretty much, like, when I come in the morning, I go through my emails, tidy them up, allocate the work for the day and that sort of thing. And then so I've sort of got an idea of what I am doing, and I'm pretty good once. So but it's allocating that time to work on my business.
Yeah. Okay. So
I do allocate it, but I don't actually do it.
And is that because client work comes up and you feel?
Well, at the moment it is, because it's BAS deadline, but so it's just now I've got all my BAS done. I'm gonna I've got time, I suppose, to sort of spend some time on it.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So
I find that too, not sticking to the schedule that you set yourself.
Yeah.
You're not sticking to the schedule, Emily? That's what you said?
No, I set one, and I've got the whole perfect week planned out and all of that kind of thing, but I'm just not great. I just tend to move something along, and I just don't stick to it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's really hard, but really important at the same time to consider your business as your best, most important business, most important client. And there's really no getting away from just accepting that you are your most important client. So if somebody was going to be paying you $50,000 a year, and that you jump through hoops and you favor them and you do the work whenever they asked it for and you react to them and all of that, there's no long-term benefit in working that hard and that unorganized for another client when you haven't got your own stuff in order. So it's almost like flipping that switch. It's like, I always say, spend at least 4 hours a week on your business. So when I work out my default diary, it is my ideal week where I'm blocking throughout the week personal time, which is, maybe you're exercising or meditating or having lunch, and non-negotiable appointment times, which it might be a client at a certain day, have to do their payroll on this day at this time. So we're blocking those hours out, blocking out 4 hours, and it might be a 4-hour block to work on your business, or you might prefer to do 2 hours. I tend to like getting momentum and spending a whole 4-hour, half a day block on your business, and then everything else then, and you know, Sharon, I noticed Sharon's jumped on the call. She will say, make sure you put some sales calls time in that block. And then all the rest of the spare time is client work. And then you look at your calendar, and when I've done this with bookkeepers, and they look at their calendar and they say, okay, I've got 30 hours of block client work, or 20, 25 hours of block client work to do, but I've actually got 50 hours of block client work to do. Like, you know, I've got, you know, way more client hours in my workload than I have in my diary. So you know that it's not sustainable. And it's a realization of, holy shit, if I'm allowed to say that online, sorry, that I need to do something about this. I can't fit those, you know, 40 hours of client work into these 30 hours that I've got. Something has to give. So, you know, I can't fix it. Sharon can't fix it. You're the one that has to make the choices. Like, you choose your business, the success of your business, the success of you and your family, and, you know, the income that you want, your goals that you want to achieve, they're your choice. So it's important to put that ahead of all your other clients. Because if you don't succeed, you're going to get into this situation where you don't love your business anymore. You can't give good service to your clients if you don't have the time to be able to give to your own business. And this is, you know, not even as, you know, as mothers, you know, people say to, you know, mothers have to look after themselves before they can provide to their family. So it's very similar in the same situation as a business. You've got to look after your business to be able to, you know, bring that service, that passion, that, you know, the goals that you want to kick into your business, into your clients. So it does become that not negotiable. Yeah. Does that resonate, Melissa and Emily? Yeah. It's just, you know, it's probably a very simple exercise to do to come to the realization this is not working the way it is. And we'll go through some more tips of, you know, how to solve getting off the treadmill. Sharon, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry I was late. I was just off on a coaching session, and we're just the transition.
Yeah, no, that's awesome that you're able to attend today. What have you got, you know, I'm sure you've got lots of comments around this, around, you know, getting off the treadmill, and we're talking about, you know, Melissa and Emily have pointed out that don't have enough, they can't structure, they're not setting, they want to do the work, they put aside the work, but they never come back to, you know, doing the work on their own business. So do you have any tips, any suggestions that you could make?
I reckon this subject is probably one of the most important subjects that we can talk about, because it's like, really, I feel like there's a lot of bookkeepers and business owners in general out there putting in the days, working all these hours, doing all this stuff that perhaps isn't lighting them up and making them feel fantastic, but they're not sure how to get off that treadmill. And I think that's like the recognition and the acknowledging that is the first thing, because they say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. And we keep getting up doing the same thing and expecting a different result. So I think the one of the things when I'm working with my clients, one of the first things I'll talk to them about is that they've got to work harder on themselves than they do on their business. So whatever's coming up for you, whatever's not working for you, there's a reason why we do that. Like it's either a self-sabotage thing, or we're just like, there's something going on that's coming up that's preventing us to take the steps to change. And I reckon, and I know I use this analogy a lot, but we've got to really go into that, put our fingers in and go, right, what's going on here? What fear's coming up for me that I'm not actually taking? Like I call it what you're saying with the default calendar is a director's meeting. You've got to set a director's meeting for yourself every single week for at least 2 hours. And in that time, get really clear on what you need to do. So you're not going to photocopy week after week, year after year, decade after decade doing the same thing. And so, and it's really easy to not do what we need to do in that time because, you know, our A-class client will ring and like we'll drop everything for our A-class client, but we've got to be the A-class client. Like you were saying with the default calendar, we've got to treat ourselves like we're just royalty. That 2 to 3 hours a week is just not moved. That is for you. You're your A-class client. And I love what Peter Cook said in that workshop that we did a few weeks ago, Katrina, where he said, you've got to think like a business owner, not a bookkeeper. And I reckon that's the filter that we need to go through in that 2 to 3 hour meeting when we're sitting down with ourselves saying, all right, what do we need to do? And another thing that certainly Peter, working with Peter and yourself, that I've realised it's a really powerful strategy is working on 3 projects a quarter. And I know you've worked with a few different sort of ways that I think you do the 6 weeks now, but having a focus for the quarter is really important. So knowing that, okay, so for this quarter, I bought Pure Bookkeeping 12 months ago and I'm only 50% systemised, or I haven't got really stuck into that HR side yet and I really want to know all the sales side. Leading up until Christmas or for the first three months after Christmas, that's what I'm going to focus on, fully systemised with the Pure Bookkeeping system and using it 100%. The second thing might be I'm going to put on, you know, a sales component. You got me. Honestly, income and sales sorts out all your problems. If you've got money coming in and you've got a fully systemised business and you've got your ducks in a row with everything that Katrina and Deb talk about with Pure Bookkeeping, it's really hard to screw up. So if you've got all your ducks in a row with that, and then you start filling your funnel with sales and new clients, once money starts coming in, you can then start looking at, okay, well, at some point next year or the year after, I want to hire somebody to do all that sales and marketing. I don't want to go out there and do that, or hire somebody in a social media capacity, or get a general manager. So I'm not having to do all this. I pay them 80, 100 grand a year and they come in and manage all that. So when you start to fantasize about the things that you can achieve, if you actually get disciplined with yourself, and it starts with that 2 to 3 hour meeting once a week going, okay, this is what I want to focus on in the next few weeks or the next couple of months. And then taking baby steps to achieve those projects or whatever you've set out to do in that small amount of time. I think it's really hard to figure out what, I want to add an extra 100 grand this year or next year. What are we going to do next week? What are we going to do today towards that? And that's what that default calendar is really powerful for, I think. I have a heap of other stuff to say, but I'll stop talking for now. Sorry.
It's always inspiring and motivating conversation, and especially this topic, isn't it? It's people get caught up in riding that treadmill, and I think we're looking for a different answer. We're not looking for that answer to sit back and think about our business because we don't have time. We want to actually find a more efficient way of, working in our week. It's not our go-to is to, I'll take 2 weeks off the work to sit back and think about it. But, if that's one thing that we can impress on anybody listening today, it is okay to take those two hours off or 4 hours off a week to actually work on your business. It's going to mean much more to you in the future when you actually plan the future out, rather than, as you say, if you do the same thing over and over again, that's the example of craziness, whatever that phrase is.
Yeah. I've got to tell you, yesterday, I'm part of this group called Impact Theory, and I've joined it. It's a guy called Tom Bilyeu, and he's a billionaire. He sold Quest. It's a Quest bar. It's a protein bar, and he sold that company for billions. And he's decided to set up this Impact Theory University. So he's like a motivational guy that basically has a belief that anyone can achieve whatever they want. And I've joined that about 12 months ago, and I get emails through, and it came through and they said, Tom's going to be live in 10 minutes. And I thought, jump on, I'll have a listen. And seriously, this guy is amazing. I'm so motivated by him. And he's a very successful man. He has amazing speakers. Jump on and it looks like this. And Tom's there. And it's like, and I could speak. Like, it's just like, I was a bit starstruck, to be honest. It was like, holy moly. And the forum was, you can ask Tom anything. And so I got all nervous and didn't ask anything because I was like, holy, there was only about 10 people on there. I'm like, how amazing is this? But my point is, the questions that people were asking were like, they're sitting in front of a billionaire, right? Like he's saying anyone can do anything. Like if you want it bad enough, you can do it. Like he's there to answer any question. The consistent question that came through was, how do I stay motivated? How do I get motivated to do the things I need to do to get the outcome that we're after, like to build the business, to make the millions? And it was like, holy shit, you're sitting in front of Tom Bilyeu and that's the question you ask. But it was consistently, like that was what people were stuck with. And he said consistently, you've got to be prepared to do what other people aren't prepared to do to get your outcomes. So essentially what you've got to do is just do the work. You've got to do the stuff that everyone else avoids. And that's stepping into your fear, right? It's easy to stay in the technical work because we know that. But stepping into the fear and doing the stuff that other people aren't prepared to do, like people that have built black belt businesses, have had to go through some kind of crap in their heads and work through that to be able to go, yeah, no, I believe in myself enough to do this. I don't know if I can, but I trust that I'll just go through the process to see if I can do it. And what happens, as you saw, Katrina, like, and other people's on this call, I'm sure, is that once you start putting one foot in front of the other, you realise, hey, I can do this. But it takes work. It's not comfortable. It's not easy, but it does take work. And the other thing I was going to say, again, going back to the default diary and booking that director's appointment, some people look at that default diary, which is basically when you've got those 3 projects for the quarter and you put in there, okay, if I work back from Christmas, what are the things I'm going to do? And you put in every single hour of your day basically is filled with getting the outcome for those things that you're wanting to achieve in the next quarter. If it's another 3 clients, you've got to make the calls to the accountants, you've got to book the appointments with the accountants, you've got to set up whatever it is that you need to do. You put one foot in front of the other and you have that systemized in your calendar. Some people say to me, Sharon, you have to be anally freaking retentive to do that. But it's successfully anally retentive. Like you don't have a choice. When it comes up, that's what you do. And if you keep doing that day after day, week after week, before you know it, you're starting to build a $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $600,000, $700,000 business. And it just happens one step at a time. It's not from 100 to 500. You build the baby steps to get there. So default calendar is just, to me, absolute gold. It took me a lot of time to get my little head around that and to remain faithful to what was in at 2 o'clock. You've got to do this, Sharon, because if it's 2 o'clock, you've got to meet with an A-class client, you'll do it. You'll drop everything and do that. If it's 2 o'clock and you've got to make a sales call, you go, you know what, I'm really busy. I haven't got time for that. But it's actually honouring that and saying that, yeah, I need to book 2 appointments this week with an accountant and making sure you follow through on that. That's the power, I think, of actually following through with the default calendar and being consistent with that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Good, lots of good takeaways in that. I think one of the things with the default diary, we could probably even review the default diary and maybe even tweak it and make it a bit better. I know, Sharon, you talk about, filling the middle of the week first. And I've, putting all of the activities that you do that are similar onto the one day. Or if you're going to, do all client work and it's on like 2 days of the week, rather than blocks of different times over the week, start getting a strategy in place where you're going to make your phone calls when you're in the car. Start grouping activities together like that. Or, if you're doing all your sales and networking, it's all on the one half a day or something. So that in your mind, it's all a similar thought, a similar, whatever it takes, your energy, whatever it takes for you to perform the networking and sales, it's all happening at the same time. So you're not having to revisit, okay, now I'm going to do some sales calls. So it's all in the networking block. You know, whatever it is around, you know, you might have your staff meeting all on the one time, all at the one day, and you might meet with them all at the same time if that suits. So thinking about how you can block it even better than what you've got your default diary is, that it works with you even better. I know, you know, for myself in working with Pure Bookkeeping, I have blocked my diary better now that I've actually got 2 free days to work on, you know, planning and production and you know, creating things, thinking, like having that freedom to be able to just think about, you know, where we want to go, what we want to do. And putting, you know, meetings on a day, all on one day, and putting client work all on, you know, over 2 days. So thinking about the improvements, the tweaking that you can do in your default diary as well. So that's, you know, that's an option of improving that to make it work better for you. And that might be one reason why you move away from your default diary. Because I know I've spoken to a lot of bookkeepers that have set the default diary, but it's like that discipline, bringing them back into doing it. So why are you not doing it? Is it not working for you because, you know, that client has to be worked on first thing in the morning? So, you know, it's looking at your energies, looking at your production, your productivity, those type of things. And it's just aligning, as Emily said. I definitely think my default isn't aligned, and I need to redo it. Yeah, and it takes time in finding out what works and what doesn't work for you. So that's really important as well. The other thing around, I think you've touched on a couple of points, Sharon, around getting off the treadmill is having a vision for your business. What is the vision for your business? What do you want to do? Where do you want to grow your business? And setting some realistic goals around what you want to do for your business. So that's important in, you know, spending that directors meeting time to work out what that is. Because if you're on the treadmill, it could be because you just got a lot of work going on, lots of clients, lots of work, doing different softwares, you know, so maybe you are spreading yourself too thin across clients or across services or softwares. So, you know, the vision for your business has to also align with the services you're providing, the clients that you're providing it for. So, you know, is there room in there that also needs to be tweaked? Melissa, did you want to come off mute again and talk to, you know, what's working, what's going on in your business that possibly is keeping you to that treadmill? Do you identify things? Are you feeling like you were spread too thin?
I can't really put a finger on it, but I know it's just going around in my head. It's a spinning wheel in my head. I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this. And I write things down. And then, yeah, maybe it's overwhelmed. Maybe I've got too much going on in my head. Yep. I just need to, find something and focus on one thing rather than the
things that you're writing down, are they business, are they like client stuff that I want to do this for clients, or is it stuff for your business?
Bit of client stuff, bit of stuff for myself. So like I'm trying at the moment, I'm trying to do an onboarding checklist of a process for onboarding new clients. What else was there? I want to do a fee increase, and there's things that I want to sort of contact clients about to make their processes a bit smoother as well to help me. But so they're the things that I'm they're just 3 things that I'm off the top of my head, but there are other things.
Yeah.
As well.
So, and I find this too, you'd make a list and then you'd lose that list. So you make another one. You'd have it on that notebook and you know, in another room, and you know, all the lists that come out of our head that we love to make lists, but we don't love so much to actually work on it. It's like, you know, talk to a lot of bookkeepers that love to plan, but they don't actually do anything.
Yeah.
Because it's the next step. They don't know how to do the next step.
Yeah. That's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I guess it's, you know, prioritizing what is the most important. So when we, you know, went through the workshop that we just recently had, the two things that were most important: what's going to make you money, what's going to bring some money in, and what action can you do that's going to make your business better. So if you think about, you know, the things that are on your list, thinking about those two, which are the most critical, bringing money in and making your business better, what's going to make a biggest difference to you and your business?
The bringing the money in at the moment, to do the price increase, I need to focus on that. But also, I've been getting a couple of inquiries from new clients, so the onboarding is, you know, but the onboarding, that can wait. I haven't had it for a while, so that can wait.
That's right. And you're a pure bookkeeping licensee, aren't you?
Yeah.
So we are launching today, or in the next couple of days. I'm not sure if it's up yet, but I finished reviewing it this week. So we have got a whole new onboarding process, checklists, documents, emails, a whole lot of new stuff that is being launched into PB Central. So check that out, because that might be stuff that you don't need to do because we've already covered it.
All right.
It also includes
put that to the side.
Put that to the side. Have a look at that when you get a chance to. So, you know, increase letters. We do have the price increase letter in there as well.
Yeah.
But customize it for yourself. Increase letters. That's really important going into the new year. We want new prices, new cash coming in. So the point that I was making was that if you've got lists everywhere, it's prioritizing what is going to make a difference. What do we need to do in the next 6 weeks or 90 days that's going to make a bigger difference to your business? So understanding your vision for your business, setting some goals, and taking some action steps around that. Sharon, do you want to talk into that as well? I know you've got lots to say.
I've got so much to say. I don't know if it's helpful, but I've got so much to say. I want to go and get something on my wall, but I'm a bit frightened because I've got very leery pants on, so I'll be very quick. Sorry.
Well, now we're all going to look.
I'm going to show you. They're the leiriest pants ever. My son said, "Do not wear those out of the house." I'll tell him that I was on a live Facebook chat today. Bye. I reckon procrastination is our best informant of what we need to work on. So I'll go back to that thing that I was talking about yesterday when I was listening to Tom Bilyeu. He's because all the questions were, I'm just not motivated, and how do you get the motivation? And it's like, you've got to be. Thank you so much, Jazz. I appreciate that. So he was saying that you've got to be. He says that he's the hardest person working in the room. He'll sit next to anyone. I mean, the guy doesn't have to. He's loaded, but he'll sit next to anyone. And he said, "I will outwork anyone." And it's like, okay, but the way he sees his filter is that whatever comes up that's stopping him is something that he needs to learn and educate himself on. And he said, any given moment, he said, I'm trying to learn stuff. I'm always listening to like audible books, reading, whatever. And somebody said to him, how often do you read? What do you? He said, look, on an average, it'd be 2 hours a day. And then he said what his day was and what he did that day. And he literally, like, the guy is a maniac. I don't know, like, he's just full on. But he said, if you want to get what you want, you've got to be prepared to do the things that other people aren't prepared to do. So he said he's got 3 earpods, you know, those earpods, and when they go flat, the reason he's got 3 is that he's in between meetings. If he's walking from one room to another, he'll be putting that in to listen to the audible book in between walking to the next meeting. He said some people wouldn't be prepared to do that. He said, but I'm prepared to do that, to be able to get over the hurdles that I need to do, because he said, I'm not the smartest person. He said, I didn't do well at school. I'm not the cleverest person, but I'm willing to do the learning that other people aren't willing to do to get through the blocks. So I think the thing that's coming up is procrastination. It's like, oh no, I'm not getting this done. It's in my default diary and I keep going across it. It's like, there might be, I know, Melissa, you said fee increase. So it's not just about the fee increase. It's about what's the fear that's coming up around the fee increase. And usually, and it's not just you, Melissa, it's our value system, right? It's like, are we worth another $5 or $10 or $20 or $50? Are we worth value pricing where we get an average of $150, $200 an hour for the job that we're doing if we're adding in advisory? So all of this stuff comes up. It's not about the darn fee increase letter, because that's just in pure bookkeeping and you can download that and send it out tomorrow. No drama. It's just an email. So it's not that. It's the stuff that comes up. And I call it searching for evidence. That's the evidence to go, okay, why am I not doing that? What is it that's coming up that's stopping me from doing that? And so my sort of idea with that would be find out what it is, go deep into it and start finding the books, the podcasts, the YouTube videos to start educating yourself and sidle up against, you know, other people. Join these sort of groups to sort of give yourself the motivation to push through it. And if it's a value thing, like, I mean, one of the things that I'm recommending to my clients at the moment, and I still can't believe it, I've recommended this book and they've all got it on Kindle, but I like a hard copy book, as you can see in the back. It's a book called The Mountain Is You. And the reviews are really good and it sounds amazing. So I've ordered it. Most of my clients have read it already. They're like, it's fantastic, Sharon. I haven't even got it yet. So I feel a bit of a fast to recommend it. But on my clients' recommendations and on Goodreads, apparently it's amazing. So it really goes deep into why we procrastinate with the things that we do. If you've got money blocks and things like that, it really is a really fantastic book, apparently. The other thing I was going to talk about is the reason why it's tricky to take action, like on price increases and doing the sales calls and things, Melissa, is that a lot of the times we talked about this in the workshop. So this is where we are now. And based on where we are now, in 2 to 3 years' time, where are we headed? Is it disaster, poor, okay, or ideal? And most of us sit around, you know what, we're okay. Everything's okay. It's like we're making some money. We get a week or two off a year. It's not too bad. It's not bad enough to change. It's not bad enough to put in that extra effort to read the books, to push us through, to go to do the things that we need to do. To get to ideal, which is ideal income, freedom, and scale, takes a fair bit of work. And it's not just doing the price increase letter. It's the work between your ears. You know, when I said you have to work harder on yourself than you do on your business, because that comes up. That's not just about business. That's all about whatever happened ages ago. It's whatever happened when the client said you weren't good enough, or they sacked you because you were too expensive, or you didn't do the job right. It's all this stuff that comes up that we all have, that we've got to put to bed and go, yep, that's okay. Everyone has that crap. We need to find out what it is to be able to step through it, to scale through whatever our own crap is. And I feel like it's like our dirty little secret that we don't like to tell anyone else, but we've all got it, right? I've coached enough people over my life to know that we've all got the same crap going on. We've just got to figure it out. And the ones that have figured it out in business holistically, if you see them and they're a success, they've just worked harder on their stuff than what we have, if that makes sense. So it's really just being willing to step into the fire to go, righto, I'm willing to sort of have a look at this and see what I need to do to get through that, to help me overcome the fear of whatever it is that we have.
Yeah, that's awesome. Susan's asking, who's the author of Mountain Is You?
Well, that's a very good question. Let me find that out for you. I haven't got it yet. I keep waiting for it to come. On Goodreads, it's got some really good reviews.
Cool.
I'll tell you. Keep talking.
Yeah, that's okay. Good. So, is anyone else in the call today that wants to jump off mute and talk about what's happening in their world at the moment, with their feeling like they're on the treadmill, what's going on, what's working, what's not working. Maybe somebody that's jumped off the treadmill would like to share a story as well. Love to hear from somebody on the call today. Is somebody willing to come off? Tanya, Sarah?
Can I call you out, Tanya? Sorry, Tanya. I know you can do it. I've just started a closed Facebook group for my group, and I'm getting them all to put up a video, and we're waiting for Tanya's to come up. Sorry, Tanya, she's off mute. Hi.
What's going on in your world with your, are you experiencing this, the treadmill, or have you experienced it?
I've literally got the treadmill.
I know. You're always on the treadmill in our
Not today. I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed at the moment. I'm just, lots of balls in the air and trying to juggle. So yes, but no, I haven't been on Facebook the last few days, Sharon. I've turned off social media. That was one of my distractions.
You've done well.
Thanks. See, I am doing as I'm told. No, I'm just trying to keep on top of the workload and trying to plan out, and getting the system inputted or implemented, and just trying to break things down into eatable chunks of cake rather than staring at the massive cake at the moment is the struggle, along with life in general, being a single mum with 3 kids and and all that other stuff. So yes,
of course. Sharon, have you got some, can you bring in this to context, or give Tanya some suggestions?
It's tricky because we've had one session together with so a default calendar, which we haven't got into yet, which is next year, but basically I would look at Google default calendar. I can send you a link to how to set that up, and it steps you through how you can set up your default calendar. So basically it's just the stuff that you filled out in the preparation pack, so all the big dreams and everything that we're working towards, it's actually stepping back from that and going, okay, what do we need to do in the next 3 months to get that done? And look, you're putting all that in place at the moment, knowing that you're fully systemizing, which is one of our goals that we have to do. Like, to get fully systemized, you can't scale a business without having the foundation strong, and you're doing the work. And it's always, this stage where you're at now is always the hardest, because it's like, you tick along doing your stuff and you organically grow, and it's kind of nice, and you get some time to watch telly and have a lovely time. But then when we up the ante and go, okay, well, now we need to put some things in place so we can step back from the business, it's always going to take a little bit more work to get that up to speed. And how quickly you cut the head off that work, the quicker you can scale to put people in to do the work and start bringing in some good money. Some people, because we're not willing to sort of go into that fear of what stops us, some people take a lifetime to do that. Some people do it quick, like they'll see it and they'll go there quickly. And it really does depend on a whole bunch of different factors. But I know when I joined Tanya and I saw the pure bookkeeping system, and I was like, okay, well, she had it, but she hadn't implemented it yet. I'm like, what's this? And she, it's the pure bookkeeping system. We kind of do a bit of it. And I said, well, why don't we do all of that? That looks amazing. And then so we started implementing everything, and there was some questions that I had from Deb, because we didn't have all these beautiful setups that we do now with the weekly support call and everything. But I bring Deb about every 6 weeks and say, hey, Deb, what do I have to do? I've done this, this, and this. What's the next thing? And I was so passionate about going to black belt, because I was white belt when I first joined Tanya, and I saw the white belt to black belt ladder, and I'm like, I'm going to black belt. I was so driven to get to black belt. I just, whatever Deb said to do, I just did. So I'd ring her about every 6 weeks and say, okay, I'm stuck here. What do I do? And she'd say, go do this, this, and this. And I'd just go off and do it. I wouldn't even question it. I had a lot of fear, because I'm not a bookkeeper, and I was out selling bookkeeping. So there was a big hurdle that I had talking to accountants. I mean, they scared the bejeebers out of me sitting in front of them, because they aren't very animated. They like lots of yes and no answers, and not sort of much connection. So I had to figure out how to get my outcomes from them. And there was a lot of fear around that. So I think deciding where you want to go and chunking it down, like you say, is a really important thing. But you're in your space at the moment, setting up your systems, setting up everything with pure bookkeeping is the number one step for me. You've got to get that done. And then obviously we'll work on some sales and marketing strategies as you sort of start getting the foundations done. Default diary, I'll send you the link for that. We've kind of been backwards and forwards by email a bit this morning, so I'll send you an email with the default diary, so it's all good.
Yeah. That's actually my spotlight video where we've done some short little videos in for the summit that's coming up next week. So it's one of the spotlight videos you will see during that that session. During the summit as well, which is talking to the default diary and an example of my bookkeeper's default diary. Judith, did you want to come off mute? You've just said, I've just started the treadmill in the last 12 months, listening to tips and tricks to do and avoid. So love to hear, what's going on in your world at the moment, Judith, if you're able to come off mute.
While Judith is coming off mute, the spotlight that I did was on DISC. So I call it a leader profile. And I went through and explained a little bit about DISC and how powerful it can be, understanding yourself a little bit more and how you tick, as well as you're growing a team. So I know you've used DISC a lot too, Katrina. So they're pretty good, those little spotlights, aren't they?
Yeah, there's probably a couple of dozen of them that are going to be. Isn't able to come off mute. That's okay. Won't let me click on it. Okay, that's probably some setting in there. Yeah, computers are like that. Technology.
Tricky.
Yeah. Is anybody else willing to come off mute and talk?
Oh, now I think it's working.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sort of at the beginning of my journey. So I've had a couple of clients for a few years that I've done data entry for. And I've done my studies and I'm working towards BAS registration, working with AB and BAS. So I'm just at the beginning. So I just love, obviously, lots of reading and lots of listening over the last 12 months, learning. Yeah. I have a passion for admin and for books. So I'm just going with that and see where it takes me. So, yes. And I love working with the clients and then with their businesses. So.
Yeah, so I guess right from the get-go, before you get overwhelmed and too busy, too full up with your books, is setting up those foundations and setting up the quality time with yourself to create that vision and making sure that you don't lose sight of that. Because it's so easy, you just get caught up in clients because we want to please them.
Yes, that's correct. And I'm at a spot now where I'm sort of going back to the beginning again and going through the foundations and tweaking things and changing things and seeing where else I need to go and what more education I need to go where I want to go. So sort of back at the beginning again and starting again, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's good. And one of the things, Sharon, that we can talk to as well is around your clients that you accept, because this keeps you either on a treadmill because you accept everybody that is not suitable, or you can select. And, as Judith is just starting out, it's a great time to be able to select who am I going to work with, because I can certainly fill up my books and fill up my days, but it may not be with the right clients. And for those that have got clients and they're already working a lot of hours and a lot of clients and a lot of BASs and, all of that, reviewing and rating, we do an exercise around rating your ideal client to see which ones are the ones that we want to keep. So we do talk about being A to D, so A being awesome clients and D being a dead client. I think you've got different terminology, Sharon, but the same type of scenario, A to D. So rating your current clients, if you've got a tribe of clients that's way too many, or you're, when I say way too many, that you've got more than you can handle for your own workload, for your own default diary, rating them, finding out who don't work for you. So there could be ones there that don't value you and don't, provide you with the information when you need it, that you feel as if they are time wasters and don't appreciate you. So if you're on the treadmill working for a lot of these clients that don't serve your business, then why are you doing that? So Sharon, I know you can talk into the ideal client as well, and picking and choosing so that you're working with the right people.
Yeah, and this is almost like, if you were like, this is like oxygen for us, because it's not just about working with A-class clients that pay us well. It's about when you choose any client, and look, I'm a salesperson at heart. I find this really, really tricky to say no to people, or to get really picky about which sort of clients that I worked with, especially when I was building the bookkeeping business, because when you have really good clients, they elevate your feeling of self-worth, because they pay you well. They don't haggle over the price. They love you, basically. When you've got people that you're working with that love you, you feel better about yourself. And so you're going to be more inclined to go out there and get more clients like them. If you have a scattering of clients and other clients that don't like you, or haggle over the price, or question everything that you do, or expect to get work done for free because they're on whatever price they think, because you've charged them a certain amount of money, and they think that they just own you at any time of the week. Even the strongest people struggle when we've got people like that in our lives. Like, if they say that you're not worth it, there's a little thing that goes on in our head where we feel like, oh, maybe because, maybe I'm not good at that bit. And you start gathering evidence for yourself in the negative, and you start to believe your own crap because you're hearing it from those sort of clients. And we want to, I think in life, Katrina, we've got to surround ourselves with people that love us and that we feel good about. Relationships with family, with clients, with your bookkeepers. The people we should be around every day are the ones that think that we're amazing, and we think they're amazing, and that it's just a beautiful pool of loveliness. And if it's not like that, that's the indication to get rid of them. And that's why pure bookkeeping is so beautiful, because we've got an environment that's really supportive and nurturing, that is that little pat on the back going, you're doing a good job, get back out there and go, because we know it's all blooming tricky out there, isn't it? It's not easy to take the knocks. You can lessen the knocks by making sure that you're very firm with yourself in only taking on those higher A-class clients that are prepared to pay you what you're worth. And we do it a lot of the times. I know I've got somebody that I was talking to the other day, and she's got a regular client that is consistent work, and we keep hold of it because we know it's consistent work and it's consistent money coming in, but it's around $50 an hour. And it's consistent work and it's predictable. But imagine, I've got this matrix that it shows, if you get rid of those and you put on, if you got rid of a $50 client, you put on a client that's $80 an hour, and, for 5 hours a week, the difference that it would be, the hours that you're doing to get the $50 client's work done as opposed to the $80 work. If you do that across all of your clients, the less hours that you're doing for more money is incredible. It's an incredible little matrix to explain that. So, I think, it's important to just make sure that you're very diligent with yourself to get just those A-class clients and not accept anyone.
Mm. Yeah, and it is a discipline, isn't it? Because we do want to just accept anybody, or we want to help as many people out, and we don't always identify that they are not an A client at the start either. So it's learning and from experience and a gut feel, asking some appropriate questions to find out, where they are at and how they're going to behave. Like, you can often get some red flags in conversations, and especially if you had some pointed questions to which will either raise the red flag by default, because the way that they answer, the way they respond, then you know that they're not your ideal client. They're never going to be, because of the personality and the respect they have for your job. So, we know we can get a fair idea from the initial conversations whether they are going to be suitable for us. Melissa, do you have clients that you would recognise as not ideal clients?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. All right. So you may even start there in analysing those clients.
I was actually thinking it yesterday. I need to let them go. They're not big ones anyway, so it's not like I would be losing a lot
Yeah.
from it. So yeah, I have recognised there's some that I can let go, whether it's, you know, put their price up so that it's, you know, worthwhile.
Yeah.
The headache,
Or
and they just say, oh no, it's too much, and go, or I'm getting paid accordingly.
Yeah, and it depends on, you know, what how bad the client is. You know, if you really still want the headache, even though you might be getting paid double, because they might still accept it, do you want to keep them so you're in control?
Yeah. Well, it's really just, there's a couple of ones that are BAS only. So if I make it that it's, you know, really high, they might,
Yeah, because they're utilising your experience, knowledge and service for a very cheap price, because you're probably only charging a bookkeeping rate for those BASs, which is what we tend to do until we have the confidence in saying, well, no, it's a BAS service, so it's a consultant, it's a qualified rate, excuse me, that it's very different to a data processing rate. And if like they are getting the best of both worlds, it really annoys me when clients, they do their own bookkeeping or somebody else is doing the bookkeeping and they just want you to do the BAS because, you know, you can do the BAS, you're qualified to do the BAS, and you charge them $150 to do their BAS. It's just like, why are we doing this? Like all of the effort that is involved in doing a quarterly BAS for a small amount of money, which is taking us away from our other quality clients and working on our business. It's just, you know, it's the first thing to go, is just doing that analyze of your clients. And, you know, they're usually the first ones to go. It's just those small jobs that take you away from your regular ability to, you know, manage your work, because they all come at the same time.
Yeah.
And they always have to be fixed and they don't appreciate it. So, so it's a good identification that you've already made, that, you know, some of those just aren't worth staying. Love to hear, so we're just about to finish up, love to hear from you what your main takeaways are today. What did you love about today? If you'd like to pop it into the chat, I'd like to get some feedback. And next week we are going to have it will be our final power hour for the year. We're going to be talking about just a reflection on the past year. So it's going to be a bit more of a social, bit of a chat, interactive, just talking about, you know, what worked, what didn't work, and have a bit more of a fun activity next week, being the final one for the year. Will you be joining us for that one, Sharon? I can't remember if you were free or not.
Yes, I'm sure I will be.
Yeah, it'll be a fun. Deb will be there. Awesome. Let's have a look at some of these chats so that Facebook can get some idea too. Emily will redo default calendar. Sue's listening for tips and tips on the default calendar and the weekly meeting for my own business. Melissa, prioritizing what's going to make the biggest difference in my business. And Judith, don't ignore what you know you need to work on. Yeah, making an impact. Like we're here with our good intentions of helping our clients and servicing our clients and loving what we do. So let's not lose the passion and lose that sight for our business. I think it's really important that we keep to why we went into business in the first place, and really enjoying it along the way, enjoying the journey and sharing it with others. So any last comments, Sharon, before we head off?
Yeah, look, I know I say it a lot, but just work harder on yourself than you do on your business. And if you're not sure what you need to work on, it's the areas that you're stopped, and you know it yourself where you're stopped. If you've got quarterly clients, if you've got clients that are just BAS, it's like, okay, what's coming up that I'm not getting rid of those? What is the fear coming up? So, you know, dive into education around this, read books, listen to podcasts, throw yourself at stuff that's going to help you push through that fear or whatever's coming up around your value. Start with that book. It sounds like an amazing book. I can't wait to get it. But there's a whole bunch of books out there that you can, I mean, there's Tom Bilyeu's a fantastic, he interviews amazing people that talk about the things that we do and strategies and tips and tricks on how to get through that, because we've all got it.
Awesome. Yeah, really, really good advice. I love this session. It was, yeah, really good. I thought it was a lot of fun. So thank you all for joining us today and listening in. Thanks, Sharon, for helping out conversations, and thanks, Melissa, for being our guinea pig. Appreciate you sharing your story, and I hope it was helpful. Thanks very much, everyone.
Thanks, guys.
Bye for now. Have a great afternoon.
Bye.